Mr. Siller. Mr. Siller lives in Nonsense Land, which is a funny place to live. You see, in Nonsense Land, everything is as silly as can be. In Nonsense Land, the trees are red and the grass is blue. Isn't that silly? In Nonsense Land, dogs wear hats. And you know how birds fly in Nonsense Land? No, they don't fly forwards, they fly backwards. It really is a silly place indeed, which of course is why Mr. Silly lives there. Mr. Silly, in fact, lives in quite the silliest looking house you've ever seen in your whole life. Have you ever seen a sillier looking house than that? No. This particular story is all about the Nonsense Cup. You see, in Nonsense Land each year they hold a competition, and the cup is awarded to whoever has the silliest answer of the year. Mr. Silly had never won the cup before, but each night in bed he dreamed about winning it. In order to win the Nonsense Cup, Mr. Silly realised that he would have to think of something remarkably silly. He pondered over the problem one fine morning, which was just a fine summer morning, at breakfast. Incidentally, you may be interested to know what he's having for breakfast. He was having a cup of coffee, which he put a spoonful of marmalade into. After that, he had a cornflake sandwich, and finish, he had a boiled egg. But being Mr. Silly, he had the shell as well. Isn't that a silly breakfast? Anyway, this particular breakfast time, Mr. Silly was thinking how to win that cup. He remembered 2 years ago, the cup was won by Mr. Ridiculous. He won by wallpapering his house, which sounds a bit ordinary, but in fact Mr. Ridiculous had wallpapered the outside of his house. However funny, however silly. And Mr. Silly remembered last year when Mr. Foolish had won the cup. Mr. Foolish, who was a friend of Mr. Silly's, had won the cup by inventing a car. It was quite a normal car, apart from one thing. It had square wheels instead of round ones. Isn't that ever silly? Mr. Silly thought and thought and thought some more, but it was no good. He even had another cup of coffee with marmalade, but that didn't help either. So he decided to take a walk. Off he went, leaving his front door open so that he wouldn't have any burglars when he was out. Of course, it does leave his door open, but us people, human beings in real life, don't leave our doors open. And the truth is, it just closed them, leave them closed and locked all the way. If you leave it open, some things that are strange would happen. On his walk, Mr. Silly met a chicken wearing Wellington boots and carrying an umbrella. Wouldn't it be silly if you didn't wear Wellington boots and carry an umbrella? Asked the chicken. Meow, said the chicken, because animals in nonsense land don't make the same noise as they do in your country. In nonsense land, they make ever funnier sounds. On his walk, Mr. Silly met a worm wearing a top hat, a monocle, and an old school tie. Wouldn't it be silly if you didn't wear a top hat, a monocle, and an old school tie? Asked the worm. Quack, quack, said the worm. Next, Mr. Silly met a pig wearing trousers and a bowler hat. Wouldn't it be silly if you didn't wear trousers and a bowler hat? Asked the pig. Moo, said the pig. Isn't that silly? They were all saying no, they would not. It was in the middle of Mr. Silly's walk that he had his answer. It was the beautifully silly answer, quite the silliest answer he'd ever had. So he hurried into town, bought a paint pot, and a paintbrush. The day of the great awarding of the Nonsense Cup arrived. A huge crowd assembled the city square to see who was going to win the cup. And what else was going on? Said there was a king of Nonsense Land who mounted the specially built platform. Ladies and gentlemen, he said to the crowd in the city square, it is my pleasure today to award the Nonsense Cup to whoever has the silliest answer of the year.